Welcome to Context Bites. Here you'll find lots of ideas that you can use for your AO3 links for English literature. Welcome back, and thanks for all the support on the video so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch the latest Context Bites. So, with that said, let's take a look at the feud in today's video. As we know, the feud between the Capulets and Montagues is one of the main themes running throughout the play. But what did Shakespeare base the feud on? One idea is that the feud represented the conflict between the Catholic faith and Protestant faith at the time Shakespeare was writing. Remember, it was Henry VIII who originally broke away from the Catholic Church when he wanted to divorce his first wife and remarry. At the time, the Catholic faith did not allow this. He therefore made himself head of the Church of England, known as the Protestant faith. When his daughter Queen Elizabeth I came to the throne, like her father, she embraced the Protestant religion. To her credit, she didn't ban the practice of Catholicism, but rather tried to find a balance between the two religions. Unfortunately, the bitter divide between the Catholic and Protestants continued to rage on throughout her reign. As with most of his plays, Shakespeare attempted to make wider commentary on societal issues happening at the time. The conflict between the Capulets and Montagues could therefore be seen as a metaphor for the conflict between the Catholics and the Protestants. Let's take a look at a second idea. Romeo and Juliet was believed to have been written between 1591 and 1595, and during this time, Elizabethan London saw a lot of turmoil and upheaval. Riots and protests on the streets of London were not uncommon, and there was a clear divide between upper class and lower class, and the mistreatment of lower class citizens caused a lot of widespread tension. Added to this, people often went hungry because of crop failures, harsh punishments directed towards the poor created outrage, inflation was at an all-time high, and London's poor were heavily taxed. And all of these factors contributed to fights breaking out between the citizens of London and the authorities. Now consider how many clashes of violence we see in the play. The opening fight between Samson and Gregory, Mercutio instigating a fight with Tybalt, Tybalt's duel with Romeo, and Romeo killing Paris outside the tomb. All of these fights could be making reference to the many disturbances on the streets of London during the 1590s. We are even told by the prince that Verona's citizens are caught up in the fighting, much like the citizens of London. And so the feud between the Capulets and Montagues once again could be seen as an extended metaphor for the continuous uprisings during this time. Let's take a look at a third and final idea about what the feud could represent. Not only were there tensions between the upper class and lower class during the 1590s, but there was also systemic infighting amongst the aristocracy. The fighting was violent and destructive, and often resulted in death. Yet Queen Elizabeth I seemed to turn a blind eye when it came to the upper class, handing out little to no punishment. A bit hypocritical, given that lower-class citizens were severely punished for the same acts. Interestingly, Shakespeare does hold the upper class accountable for their violent behaviour. The prince clearly states, "If you ever disturb the peace again, you will pay for it with your lives." Perhaps Shakespeare is making a subtle dig at the monarchy and their inaction towards the upper class. And so once again, we see the feud between the Capulets and Montagues being representative of societal issues at the time Shakespeare was writing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your ideas in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out the next video in our series.